Hi, so the audience for my speech today have my mom, my aunt, and then my sister on FaceTime there. Perfect. All right, without further ado, let's jump right in. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about overconsumption and the way that it's really impacting our generation today. So you might be asking yourself, what is overconsumption? Well, Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines overconsumption as this excessive consumption or use of something. So I urge you to be conscious of the things that you are purchasing and the impact that they're going to make on the environment when you start to overconsume goods. I plan to talk a little bit about social media and its role in overconsumption in my speech today because it's really a huge factor in why overconsumption has started to spread over our generation. Further, I want to talk a little bit about throwaway culture and how we're really moving into this society that is starting to dispose of things that we purchase quite quickly. And last but certainly not least, I want to talk to you about how the items that we often purchase are being bought at this very low price, but there's often a hidden cost in these really cheap items that we are purchasing to stay on trend. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Now, social media is playing a crucial role in overconsumption. For example, Global Web Index indicates that over 54% of consumers use social media when researching a product. So we see that over half of our population is actually turning to social media to learn about products before purchasing them. And social media knows this, creators know this, influencers know this, and they're using this to their advantage and creating a very strong trend cycle. Now, before you can look at trends and see a certain decade and how they would dress, and this was really categorized by the fashion over many years. However, now it's much harder to look at a photo or something and say what year it's from because trends change like that. I mean, we used to have trends that would last 10, 15 years. Now they may last a few months, if not weeks. And overall, consumption has really picked up because of social media. For our visual research, I want to show you this chart that I found here that shows retail e-commerce just across the world from 2014 to 2025. So a little over 10 years, but this is the way in which sales have grown online. There you are. So we can see there's this steady trajectory going up each year, and it's really increasing a lot. And because of these e-commerce purchases, sites like TikTok and Instagram are utilizing this to their advantage and putting shopping onto their apps. So now you can scroll on social media and purchase something in-app without even leaving the browser. I mean, it's a crazy world we live in, but we're constantly being told that we need to buy these new things to stay on trend. And these trends are constantly changing, so we cause overconsumption through this. Now, because of this social media frenzy to stay on trend and buy the new cool hip thing, we often see this shift in our society towards throwaway culture. We no longer hold on to garments like we used to. They're not really made to last, and anyways, why would we need them to last if we throw them away once we move on to the very next trend? So this causes a lot of waste, and as a result, we see our landfills and our environment is getting really overfilled with clothing and product waste that we are buying because of these trends changing so rapidly. And it's not sustainable to keep up with these trends, not only for the environment, but for ourselves economically. So what do we do when we have social media telling us that we need to buy these new cool things, to buy this cool clothing, because that's what's in, and everything you were wearing 2 weeks ago is now out? Well, what do people do? They buy the cheap clothing because they want to get a deal on it. You know, we can't really sustain buying expensive versions of new trends, so we go to fast fashion, we go to stores like Zara and H&M, and we find cheaper versions of the clothing that we see on social media. Now, why is this bad? I mean, we're saving money and we're kind of staying on trend, and I guess most of us don't really throw things away every week. Well, it's also bad because there's this kind of hidden cost behind it. So you buy something for a really low cost, but somebody had to make that garment, right? And also the company has to make money off the garment. So then you're buying something that costs you $5.99, maybe it's a t-shirt. But then you also have to have the company make profits, so whether that be Zara or H&M or whatever store you choose to purchase from. But so does the person who actually made that garment. Well, how does the company stay afloat with this sort of tactic? Well, they don't pay their workers. They don't pay the people that made your clothing. So we have these workers that are often sometimes using child labor or just even not children, but creating this clothes at unlivable wages. So there is this hidden cost behind buying these cheaper items to stay on trend. So just to really recap and go over a few more of those points again, social media, it's pushing these trends. We have things which ironically I think a great example of this is like even reusable water bottles. Social media is telling us we got to buy the new reusable water bottle. I think this is a great example because reusable water bottles were made to save the environment, yet social media tells us, oh no, the Hydro Flask is out, now you have to get the Stanley Cup. So we see this like frenzy to buy new cups or collect things just to post it online, and even items that are made to help the environment are becoming unsustainable because they're being commodified by social media as a new trend or this new hip item you need, as well as clothing. And then because of that, we have throwaway culture coming in. So you bought the old water bottle, it's no longer cool, you throw it away and you buy the new one. So we have social media pushing the trend. And then we have you buying into the trend and throwing away the old item that was previously trendy. And then as a result, because you can't sustain this economically for yourself, you start buying the cheaper item and throwing that away. And that's causing more environmental damage because not only are we filling up our landfills with goods that we don't need just to stay on trend, we're also buying for places that are actively damaging our environment, and the people that they're using and the labor they're using to create these garments and to create these items are actively causing harm to the world. So all these things are really important to consider next time that you purchase something or you see something online that tells you that you need this new hot purchase. So I urge you to think about what you're buying and to fight back from these influencer fed ads that are coming up on our platforms, and to think about how the things you buy can kill the environment that you live in today. Thank you so much for listening.